At the beginning of our session, you heard me talk about Queen Mother Ya Asentowa, and I described how protective she was of the Ashanti golden stool, particularly when the British tried to invade them and steal it. The golden stool is sacred to the Ashanti culture and plays an important role in raising kings and queen mothers. It is said that the golden stool symbolizes the unity of the chiefs and their people, and it is the most sacred object of the Ashanti that has survived because it is viewed as a gift from God. It literally fell from the sky for the first king of the Ashantis. Kofi and his people believe in this magical powers of the golden stool because it has an energy, a force, and when touched, makes one feel powerful and important. Zawadi Griot features today the story by Maya Angelou, Kofi and His Magic. This story tells the story of a young man who carries the magic, literally carries the magic of the golden stool in his DNA. And it empowers him to learn, to dream, and to celebrate with enormous pride and joy his country's diversity, his country's culture, and the magic of the golden stool. Zawadi Griot, focus on Ghana, Kofi and his magic. I'm Edith Michelle, and I'm happy to kick off Zawadi Griot with a story about Kofi and Ghana and Kofi's magic in terms of the golden stool. Hi, my name is Kofi, and I am a magician. And here's Kofi in his regalness, in his glory, in his Kente robe. I live in West Africa, the most beautiful place in the whole world, and I am 7 years old. And yes, I am a magician. I live near the Ashanti golden stool, which everyone knows is pure magic. The stool is made of gold, and only the Ashanti king can sit on it. And when he does, he becomes so powerful that everyone must obey his commands. Now that's magic. Again, Kofi carrying his golden stool. Now you may think I'm kidding when I say I'm a magician, but when I finish my story, I'm sure you will believe me. Okay. First, I am, as I said, Kofi, which means I am a boy born on Friday, and I am a weaver. I weave Kente cloth, the most beautiful and richest cloth in the world. Here's an example behind me and on me as well. You may think that I'm not old enough to be a weaver, but I began weaving years ago when I was young. I joined a class of boys learning to weave. The teacher tied threads to our toes, and then we would move our feet a little like riding a bicycle. Just a little. It was hard, but we had fun wiggling our toes, and I could make these threads behave. So I hope you can see. Here's the teacher, and the kids are learning how to thread using their toes and their slippers a makeshift loom. And then here, as he gets older, he's actually using the loom and still using the trick of the toes to make the threads in the loom and weave them in the loom. My town is called Bonwire, and it is the most famous town in all the world for Kente weaving. In fact, Bonwire, you see, is the center for traditional Kente cloth production, and it's a weaving village in Ghana. Kente cloth is really bright and colorful, as you can see. It's a very special type of hand-woven silk and cotton textile that originated in the Ashanti kingdom back in the 17th century, but it has roots in a long tradition of weaving in Africa. Initially, it was made primarily for special religious or social occasions, and it was seen as a luxury item that should be used by the king and his royal court. And it's still very popular today all over Ghana, not just in Bonwire. As you can see here, it says God is love. God is love. Kente. This is Bonwire, Kente village. I don't tell everyone, but I can do a magic thing. And what I want can come true. Really. For example, I know Bonwire is the best town in the world, but sometimes I want to go to other places, like the north, where people live in houses different from ours, and wear different clothes, and speak differently, and eat different foods. So our first stop is to a traditional marketplace, probably just north of Ghana, Accra in Ghana. See all the different fruits and vegetables, chickens, there's even some fried fish. So there's an array of smells at this marketplace. Also, you see a lot of women vendors, and many of them are wearing huge, large straw hats to protect them from the sun. I also like to hear the names of towns that are north of me. Tamale in the northern region, where there are many mosques in the city because many of its residents have an Islamic background. Sunyani is an area where there are lots of elephants. It is about 3.5 hours north of Accra, the capital of Ghana. And it's not too far from a national park where the elephants are plentiful across the savannah. And then there's Bolgatanga, a town in the upper east region of Ghana, close to the border of Burkina Faso. There are lots of baobab trees that grow in the northern parts of Ghana, in Bolgatanga. So this is what I do. I sit down, I close my eyes, and I open my mind, and I'm on a bus, waving goodbye to my friends in Bonwire. So here's Kofi, getting ready to go on the bus, getting ready to go north to share his adventure with us. Then suddenly, I'm in the north. Up here, no one weaves kente, but they make other kinds of cloth and textiles. And the boys wear hats made with horns and cowrie shells. If I wore a hat like that, I would feel very brave. And I think I would feel brave too. Look at those horns on those hats. They're also lined with cowrie shells, which was a form of prosperity and power. What a wonderful headdress. While I'm in the north, this is the first time I see northern women painting their houses. I laugh because Ashanti women don't do that. But then when I see how beautiful the houses are, when they are finished, I think it would be magical to live in a painted house. What do you think? I think it would be magical too. The beautiful colors, the wonderful shapes, that's the magic that the northern women in Ghana bring to their homes. The northern people like me. They give me a smock, like a big shirt to wear, and they let me stand with their wise old men. I even take a picture with them. And here is Kofi with the elders of the community in northern Ghana that he's visiting. And when I'm ready to go home, I sit down, close my eyes, open my mind, and I'm back in Bonweir, going to school. Where I live, we carry our desks to write on and stools to sit on when we're going to school, because most of the time our classes are outside. But during the rainy season, we go inside to study, and sometimes I get bored, but mostly I enjoy being in school. So here you can see Kofi and his classmates actually carrying their desk and their chairs. Can you imagine having to do that every day to go to school? But sometimes, even in school, I get bored and have to use my magic. So I sit down, close my eyes, open my mind, and I'm at a festival called Durbar. Every year at harvest time, the people celebrate. Powerful chiefs, and some of whom are women priests, and wise men put on their richest kente and gold, and they are carried through the streets on palanquins under beautiful umbrellas. Here you can see the chiefs and the women priests in their palanquins, which is kind of like a floatable sofa bed where they can lie back and relax under a cover like an umbrella and parade through the town in all their regalia, their kente robes and their gold. And at Durbar, there are dancers and drummers who fill the roads. There are singers who are singing, children that are shouting, and the thump, thump, thump of the drums. They're having a great time. There is also delicious food to eat everywhere. Lots of fresh fruits and vegetables as well. But sometimes, even though I love the Durbar, I do get tired. So I sit down, close my eyes, open my mind, and I'm back home in Bonweir, with my friend Kojo, who doesn't laugh very much. I decided to share my magic with Kojo. So here's his friend Kojo, also in his kente robe. I tell him we should go to the sea. And I say, just sit down, close your eyes, and open your mind. And I say it again. And I have to repeat myself several times before we finally both just sit down, close our eyes, and open our minds. And before we know it, we are at a lake so wide and blue that we become afraid. But someone tells us that we're not looking at a lake, but the Atlantic Ocean. Here they are in front of that wide lake, that wide ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Why do you think they're sad? The ocean has a wonderful smell and a wonderful roar, like a soft roll of thunder during the rainy season. But the water tastes salty because they are reminded that some of their ancestors, their great-grandparents, probably were taken away from Ghana, not by their choice, into that Atlantic Ocean to North America, where they became slaves. So after a while, Kojo and his friend want to go home. Kojo and Kofi want to go home. So they sit down and close their eyes and open their minds. And they're back in Bonweir. Now, I told you at first that I was a magician. Well, I've been thinking in my language, Ashanti, and you have been hearing me in English. So I think you must be a magician too. And if you ever want to just meet me, just sit down, close your eyes, and open your mind. And think about your friend that you have in West Africa named Kofi. The end. And that's Kofi, probably with his father or grandfather. But once again, in his Kente robe, feeling proud about being from Ghana, West Africa. I love this story. And I want to thank Zawadi Griot because true to its name, Zawadi, over the past 30 years, 25 plus years, you have given me the gift of learning, exploring, and understanding a beautiful history about so many African countries. You were the first to give me the gift of awareness and understanding of the beauty of the Kente textile. Zawadi was also where I first learned about the Ashanti stool. Zawadi was also where I first learned about the Sankofa bird that has encouraged me to go back and fetch it to learn about my history. Zawadi Griot, you keep telling the story. You are a gift that keeps giving. Thank you, Zawadi Griot.